Alrighty, let's get going. Today let's start in a seat. So most of you are already there. If you need to just adjust it a little bit, you can do that. I'm gonna actually sit up onto something today. So I usually just take a pillow or a rolled up blanket or whatever I have, and then I can sit my hips onto whatever surface, and then my knees can kind of fall down in front of me, and it provides a little bit more length through the spine. So if you can get your knees down, even by rocking off to one side and literally pulling the flesh of your bum back so that your pelvis can tilt forward just a little bit, and then just stacking your shoulders over your hips, and maybe roll through your shoulders a little bit as you arrive. So maybe just inhaling and rolling your shoulders up to your ears, and then exhaling, letting them fall down your back. And you can do that a couple more times if it felt good. And then you can allow your eyes to close. And just take a few moments to kind of unplug from what's going on around you and tune into what's going on internally. Even noticing, what sounds you can hear coming from within your own body. You can hear the sound of your breath. You might even be able to hear the sound of your heartbeat. Notice what sounds you can hear coming from within your own body. Just notice how your body is feeling, and notice your breath as well. And then take an inhalation and see if you can sit up just a centimeter taller. And then breathe in a little bit deeper to that newfound space in your torso. And then we'll take a few breaths all together here. So take an inhalation and really fill the entire capacity of your lung space. So go ahead and inhale. And then we'll just sigh out the mouth. Do that a couple more times. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. And one more. And then you can blink your eyes open, and we'll just inhale and circle the hands around and up. Gaze up as your palms meet. And then exhale, it's like you're pulling your palms down in front of your heart. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, circling your arms around. Really take up space as you circle around. Gaze up. And then exhale, pull the palms down to land in front of your heart. 1 more time like that. Exhale. Good, and then just plant your palms in front of you. And then just start to walk your fingertips forward and just bow down a little bit here. So just come into a forward fold from this cross-legged position. And then just push into your palms as you reach your fingertips forward, making your hips really heavy and just opening up along the back of your body. Good. Just a couple more breaths like that. And then walk your fingertips back towards your knees. And go ahead and make your way to a tabletop position. If you're sitting on a prop, move that out of the way. Make your way to a tabletop position. And then we've done this little flow quite a few times together, but we're going to do it again today. So exhale and go ahead and bring yourself into a child's pose. Okay, and then right away, inhale, come up to a tabletop. Take an exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right away, when you arrive in your downward facing dog, inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. And we're just gonna move through these three positions with our breath from here. Inhaling to come to a tabletop. Exhaling to send the hips up and back. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. And just moving on your own from here. See if you can slow everything down a little bit more. Notice not only the end of each posture, so the finishing point of each posture, but notice as well all the in-between. So flow through these three movements one or two more times. And then when you're ready, we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So maybe your next downward facing dog, just stay there. And you can pedal the knees a little bit if you'd like, if you just need a little bit more opening. Maybe pedal the knees and sway through the hips for a few breaths. Good, and then take an inhalation and sweep the left foot up toward the ceiling. Take an exhalation and bend through the left knee. Bring the left knee as close as you can toward the left shoulder and hover there. Hover there and breathe deep. Good. Keep pulling everything in. And then see if you can softly place the left foot to the outside of the left palm. And drop the back knee down. Good. If you have blocks, maybe grab your blocks now. Bring them on their highest height. If you don't have blocks, of course, no problem. Maybe just come onto your fingertips and try to lift your heart up and away from the hips. Good. We'll back the hips up about an inch. And then just start to stir some circles in your hips. First in one direction. And then we'll switch directions. Okay. Good. Just come back to neutral. And then take an exhale, we'll come into half splits or Ardha Hanumanasana. So start to send your hips back. The front toes are gonna lift away from the mat. And then your choice to stay lifted up high or hinge at the hips to bow forward. And breathe here. Keep pulling that left hip back and dropping it down. Think about pulling the left hip back and dropping it down. And then let there be a little micro bend in that left knee. Try not to lock it out. Good. So you can choose to stay right here, or you can plant your right hand down and then peel that left hand back behind you, coming into a twist toward that left leg. So you should feel an opening all the way down that left leg, even into the left foot. A nice twist through the length of the spine. And again, keep drawing that left hip back and dropping it down away from the left armpit. Okay, gaze back through center and walk yourself forward. Good, let's tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, and then swivel the right heel down onto your mat. So setting up for warrior two here. As you're ready, windmill the arms up, coming into warrior two. Okay, breathing here in your warrior two. Take a peek at the alignment. Just make sure the front heel is intersecting with the arch of the back foot. Okay, and then from here, start to reach that front hand forward. Reach that front hand forward, 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 and let the elbow come down to the knee. Let the elbow find the knee, and then sweep the top hand or the opposite hand forward and overhead, peeling the shoulders open, stacking the shoulders, and kind of stacking the hips here. Okay, one more breath. Take an inhalation to come back to warrior two. Exhale to windmill your arms down, this time framing your front foot. And then exhale, drop the back knee. Okay, we're gonna come into a low lunge. So when you're ready, sweeping the fingertips high. Coming into Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Good, so we have a somewhat tricky transition here. So we're just gonna tuck the back toes, and then without thinking about it too much, just lift that back knee away from the ground. Coming into a high lunge. Good. And then 3 times, we're gonna cactus through the elbows as we drop the back knee, just to kiss the ground. And then inhale, lift everything back up. Do that 2 more times. And then from here, exhale, fold, plant your palms. And then just from here, straighten through the front knee and start to bow over the front leg. And breathe. then keep drawing the left hip back. Your body is probably gonna try to get out of this sensation by kind of rocking your hips to the side. So see if you can square your hips off here. Good, one more breath. And then we're just gonna step back to a downward facing dog. So if you can step back right from here, go ahead. If you need to kind of readjust the legs, go ahead and do that. Step back to a downward facing dog. And then your choice to hold downward facing dog. You can drop your knees, take a child's pose, or cycle through a vinyasa. Maybe coming forward to a plank. Exhaling, lowering down to hover. Inhale, lifting up, upward facing dog. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. And we'll go into the opposite side. So when you're ready, sweep the right heel to the ceiling. Exhale, bend through the right knee. Bring the right knee toward the right bicep and hover there. And then softly place the right foot down to the outside of the right palm and drop the back knee. Good. Maybe grabbing blocks if you've got them. A water bottle works well as well. And then back the hips up just an inch and start to stir some circles through the hips. And switch directions. Okay, come back through center, lift your heart up high. And then start to walk your hips back, maybe bringing your blocks with you. The front toes will free away from the mat. And then your choice, you can stay lifted high or hinge and bow down. And same thing with the right hip. Think about drawing it back and dropping it down, increasing the length of the right side body. Okay, choose to stay here or with the left hand planted. Just draw that right hand back. Keep the legs and the pelvis the same. Just draw that right hip back, twisting from the spine. Kind of opening up, your shoulders might start to align here as you reach that back hand, that right hand back. Maybe gazing back at that right hand. One more breath. Gaze back forward. Plant both of your palms. Walk yourself forward to the top of your mat. Setting up for warrior two. When you're ready, tuck the toes. Lift the back knee. Swivel the back heel down on your mat. And then windmill up. Warrior two. Good. From here, start to reach your front hand forward. Drop the elbow to the top of the thigh. And then already here, you're stacking the shoulders. And then from here, you're just sweeping the left fingertips down and then overhead, creating this long line from the left fingertips all the way down to the left foot. And here the shoulders are stacking, and you can even start to peel the heart up, gazing up toward the ceiling. I'm just going to drop my hand down so you can see my top arm. Okay, one more breath. Windmill up to warrior two. Exhale, windmill down, framing the front foot with your palms. Free the back heel and drop the back knee down. Untuck the back toes and then lift up to low lunge. Good. From here, you're going to tuck the back toes and then just lift up to a high lunge from here. Try to do it without your hands. Good. 3 times. Cactus through the elbows and bend through the knee, bringing the knee to just kiss the ground, and then inhale, lift everything back up. Do that 2 more times. Good, and then exhale, fold. Plant your palms, and then straighten through that front knee as much as you can as you bow over that front leg. Good, just taking one more breath here. And then make your way back to a downward facing dog from here. Let's drop our knees down to the mat and find a child's pose. So it can feel nice to find a little wiggle here. So literally wiggling your hips, wiggling your body from side to side. It's like you're just trying to nestle your body into this posture. Take another couple breaths. Good, and then walk your palms back towards your knees. We'll take a toe stand here just for a few breaths. So you're literally going to tuck all 10 of your toes underneath your body. And then it's painful, but then you're just sitting on your heels. Okay, so obviously very intense. You can always come forward, take that weight off of your feet if and when you need, and then just come back into it. Make sure that all 10 toes are tucked underneath. And then I should have mentioned your big toes, it feels best if your big toes are touching here. And then just sitting and breathing. We'll spend 3 to 5 breaths here. Okay, let's come out. Go ahead, lean forward. If you need to tap your feet out, go ahead and do that. Get some blood flow back in there. And make your way to a downward facing dog. Good, let's all cycle through a vinyasa or two. So come forward to a plank with your inhale. Always an option to drop down to your knees. Exhale, lower down to hover. Inhale to lift up to an upward facing dog. Let's hang out in upward facing dog for a few breaths. So come onto the tops of your feet. Lift everything else away from the ground. So the only things that are touching the ground are your palms and the top of your feet. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And then you're kind of thinking about pulling your heart forward and through your arm bones. One more breath. And then tuck the toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's do that again. Inhaling, coming forward to a plank. Exhaling, lowering down to hover. Inhaling to peel up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, so from here, let's walk our feet to the top of the mat and fold forward. Take an inhalation to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Do that 2 more times. And then at the end of your 3rd breath like that, come all the way up to stand. Lead with your heart. Maybe circle your hands around and up. Gaze up. And then exhale, pull the palms down in front of your heart. So finding your mountain pose. Okay, we'll take a few balancing postures from here. So let's transfer the weight of your body into your left foot. And give your right knee a hug into your chest. Maybe interlace your fingers somewhere along that right leg. Pull that right knee as high as you can. And roll out through the ankle a few times in both directions. Okay, and let's take a standing figure 4 from here. So cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh and activate through this foot. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. This can help with the balance. And then go ahead and sink down into an imaginary seat, an imaginary chair behind you. Think about sending your right bum cheek back and about 45 degrees out to the right, and same with the left. Good, so try to keep this right knee lifted as you come up and out. Try to keep that right knee lifted. Good, and then we'll take a quad stretch from here. So same thing, try not to drop the knee down. Just let the knee, or let the foot come down, let the knee drop down so your knees are together. And then maybe you can reach around and grab a hold of the foot. And then of course, the farther back your knee is, the more intense it is. And then same thing with the heel toward the hip. So as you're here, let's lift our left hand, so the opposite hand, up toward the ceiling. Okay, and just for fun, we'll try on dancer's pose here. So if you're grabbing a hold of the foot from the outside, switch your grip to the inside. And then just start to kick your right foot back into your right hand and reach up with the opposite hand. So you can't see my left hand, but I'm basically just reaching up toward the ceiling. And then the more you kick back, you'll start to naturally find a little hinge at your hips. And we're not going very far, just kind of playing with that. Okay, and then go ahead and come up and out. And drop the right foot down. So just go ahead and shake it out. It can feel good to kind of give your body a shake, just like animals and cats do, just like shake the stress off. And then go ahead, we'll find the other side. So the right foot is planted, hug the left knee into the chest, roll out through the ankle. Find figure 4. And go ahead and sit down. Okay, start to come up. Again, keep that left knee lifted if you can. Find the quad stretch, dropping the knee down, grabbing a hold of the foot. And then lift the right hand up toward the ceiling. So switch the grip of your palm. If you're grabbing a hold of the outside of the foot, switch to the inside. And then just playing with dancers again. So maybe you're just kind of sort of pushing into that palm. Maybe you're starting to push so much and kick so much that your body naturally hinges forward. Okay, go ahead and come up and out. Drop the left foot down. We'll take a few breaths together in mountain pose. So just breathing in the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Good. Okay, let's step out with one of our feet so that all 10 toes face the long end of your mat. And then grab a hold of your hips and bend through your knees a little bit. Start to send your hips back as you reach the crown of your head forward. And then come down, resting your palms underneath your face. Good, and then before we bow all the way down, we're just gonna start to walk the fingertips out. So you're coming into what looks like a downward facing dog with really wide legs. So just walk your fingertips forward and allow your heart to bow down here. let's walk both of our palms just off to the right a few inches. So keep walking them forward and bowing your heart down. Just move your palms off to the right so you feel a little bit more opening through the left side of the body. And then walk both palms over to the left. Same thing here on the left side. Good. Walk your palms back through center. And then keep walking your palms back so that they're underneath the shoulders. And then we're going to bow down from here. So maybe adjusting your feet as you need. And then just drop the crown of your head down. So you're kind of rocking the weight, most of the weight of your body into your big toe mounds, the front of your feet. So if I came behind you and slid a piece of paper underneath your heels, it would slide in relatively easily. Good job, Brian. Looks really good. Okay, let's come up halfway with an inhalation. Take an exhale to bring your hands to your hips, and then inhale to come all the way up to stand. Okay, you can heel toe your feet in if you need, and then just step up to the top of your mat. Sweep your fingertips high with an inhalation, and exhale, fold forward with an exhalation. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's plant our palms, and then we're going to step the right foot to the back of the mat. Step the right foot to the back of the mat. And then take a breath in to lift up to a high lunge. Find your high lunge. And then take an exhale to bring your hands together in a prayer position in front of your heart. We're just going to hinge at the hips here to reach the heart forward, and then turn your heart toward that right or left leg. We're going to hook the elbow on top of the left leg. Yeah, so hook the right elbow on top of the left leg, and then just push into your palms to bring the center of your heart closer to the meeting of your palms. Okay, so you're just pushing into kind of that connection of your knee to the elbow and your palms to deepen the twist. Continue to find length with every inhalation, and maybe find a little bit more depth with every exhalation. One more breath here. Gaze down, unhook the elbow from the thigh, drop the palms down, drop the back knee, and we'll set up for pigeon. So if you need to take pigeon from your back, you can do that. I'll show you that afterwards. If I notice that multiple people aren't going into pigeon. Otherwise, just walk that right or that left foot closer toward the right side of the mat. Drop the left knee down and set up for pigeon. Okay, if it's not feeling good on your knees, you can always take a reclined figure four. So it's the same posture just from your back. Always an option. 2 breaths here. And then start to lift yourself out. So just starting to peel the heart up. Take anything that allows you to get a bit of blood flow back into the hips. So maybe a downward facing dog or a tabletop. And then walk your feet to the top of your mat to meet your palms once again and fold forward. Take an inhalation to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms and step your left foot to the back of your mat. When you're ready, take an inhalation, lift up to your high lunge. We'll bring the hands together in front of the heart, hinge at the hips, and then turn to face that right leg. I'm going to hook the left elbow to the top of the right thigh, and then just use that connection as more leverage to deepen the twist. One more breath. Gaze down. Unhook the elbow from the thigh. Bring the palms down, drop the knee, and set up for pigeon on the opposite side. So notice what in your body you are gripping unnecessarily. See if you can relax your jaw. Unclench your fists. Notice if you're clenching your toes. See if you can relax your feet. And your belly. And then on top of all of that, see if you can breathe a little bit smoother. Let's take one more full breath in and out. And then start to lift yourself up once again. Again, coming into a downward facing dog. Good, let's come forward to a plank and then lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck the toes and take your hands out wide. Take your hands out wide. I'm kind of in the sun here. Maybe I should close the blinds so you can see, but we'll take the hands out wide, tent through your palms, coming onto your fingertips. And then lift your heart away from the ground. So press into the tops of your feet, press your pelvis into the mat, and then reach your heart forward and up. Good, stay and breathe here. And then try to really use the muscles that support and run along your spine so much that you can actually lift the palms away from the mat. Okay, exhale, lower down. Just rest one side of your face down onto the mat. Take a couple breaths. And we'll come into another round, just like that. So when you're ready, bring your gaze back through center. Set up your hands on either side of your body, tent through your palms coming onto your fingertips, elbows pointing up toward the ceiling, and then inhale to lift up. We'll add on a little bit from here. So as you exhale, drop your right shoulder forward and gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, drop your left shoulder forward, gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Again, drop your right shoulder forward, gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale through center. Same thing on the left, gazing over the right shoulder. Do that one more time on both sides. And then lower all the way back down. So again, rest one cheek down onto the mat, probably your other cheek, to gain a bit of symmetry. Okay, and then I'd like to do one more thing here before we move on to our closing sequence. So we're going to set up for one more round that's a little bit different from here. So move your gaze to the center once again. And this time, bring your palms down alongside your body, but flip your palms open toward the ceiling. So the tops of your hands are coming down. Okay, and then the first round, we're just gonna lift the heart away from the mat. So take an inhalation, lift the heart up, keep everything down. Just a breath here and then lower down. And we'll do that again, but this time we're gonna lift the heart and the palms away from the mat. So the arms are lifting, the heart is lifting. And then exhale, lower down. Good. The last round, we're gonna lift the heart, we're gonna lift the palms, and if that feels okay, then lift the feet and the legs so that the only thing that's touching the ground is like the belly and the pelvis. And then continue to reach the heart forward and reach your fingertips or your toes back in opposite directions. And then lower everything back down. Good. And again, you can stack the palms underneath your face. Let your forehead rest on your stacked palms and then just wiggle your hips a little bit from side to side. Okay, plant your palms underneath the shoulders and take a child's pose. So lift up through a tabletop and slowly make your way to a child's pose. And then from the child's pose, we're gonna just flip over onto our backs. So do that in any way that you see fit. Make your way onto your back and give your knees a hug into your chest when you get there. Try to move with intention and move kind of slowly. We're gonna be finding Shavasana pretty soon, so you can kind of take that restful, restorative approach to your movements. Okay, we'll just set up for a twist before coming into Shavasana. So bring your feet down to the mat and widen your feet to the edges of your mat as we usually do for our reclined twist. Open up your arms into a T. Let both of your knees fall to the right and let your gaze drop over your left palm. And then if you want to try to deepen this twist a little bit, you could choose to hook the right foot on top of the left knee. But that doesn't always feel good, so if you try it and it doesn't feel good, just come out. Okay, bring both of your knees back up through center and switch sides. Drop them over to the left. Gaze over the right palm. And same thing here, you could choose to deepen the twist by hooking the left foot on top of the right knee, or not. Okay, bring both knees back up through center. Give your knees one final squeeze into your chest. Maybe a happy baby if your body is calling for it. And then if you're all done, there's no movements left for you. Just extend your limbs out into your final rest of Shavasana. And you can take your feet, your hands out wide. Let your toes just fall out to either side of your body. And then your only to-do list, the only item on your to-do list is just to take these few minutes of rest. Okay, start to come back to your breath and begin to wake your body up again. So just finding some movement and moving in any way that feels good. Eventually make your way onto your right hand side. And then press yourself up to a seat. And closing as we usually do, just taking a moment here to honor yourself. Okay, thanks everybody. Namaste.